It's a given Steph is the greatest shooter of all time. Ain't nobody going to debate that. But how do you assess if after this championship run, Steph has elevated himself into being a top 10 player in NBA history? Where do you stand with that right now after watching what you've watched in these NBA finals?
You know, he has to be in that conversation a bit. There's so many guys who are so deserving, but I think what he's done in sort of leading this team, you didn't have Klay Thompson. A lot of people question whether Steph could get back to that level of 2015, 2016, that MVP like performance that he had those 2 years. He's older now, and he's shown that he's still got it. And on this stage in the final, Stephen A. had his best performance, minus that one game, game five.
Yep.
Back in San Francisco. But yeah, I mean, he's his resume. When you look at his resume, and the thing is, he's not done yet. I mean, he
I know.
still, I think, has an opportunity to not just put up all-star games and certain accomplishments, but this team has a realistic chance of getting back here and winning it again next season.
I'm going to come back to you on Steph Curry and the Warriors, and of course, I'm going to ask you about Boston before this interview's over. But I want to transition to your book, the game and autobiography. I want to talk about that for a second. I want to know what inspired you to write this book and what you have to say, because when we talk about legacies, I've often told people Grant Hill had an ankle problem. He had that nasty injury that you could never really recover from. When I think about you, I'm not going to lie to you. I think about Vince Carter. I think about Kobe Bryant. I think about Michael Jordan. You had that kind of game, my brother. It was something special to behold when you were fully healthy. Talk to me about this autobiography and the kind of things that you say in here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that compliment. I had a crazy journey, great success, team success at Duke, Detroit those years, and then some really dark moments, concerns about whether I'd play again, and then coming back, later as a role player. And then so getting into the Hall of Fame in 2018, I think that really sparked this idea of like, okay, let me reflect, let me tell my story. There's a lot that people don't know, particularly with my injury, some of the challenges I had early in my career, some of the behind the scenes accounts of what happened when I was in Detroit and I was sort of an elite player. But you know what? It was a great process. I feel like I learned a lot about myself. It was also at times hard. It's hard to confront certain things. It's hard to be honest with yourself. But ultimately, it was therapeutic. It was liberating, and at times frightening to go back and relive and remember some of those good and bad moments throughout my career.
Grant Hill, when you think about your life and your career, I mean, you've got wonderful parents, wonderful family, wonderful wife. I mean, you are one of the truly blessed individuals on this planet Earth that people really, really knew who surround you. And you're one of the best people I know I've ever met. I asked this question in all honesty. It would seem that an injury is the only thing that is regrettable when it comes to looking at your life. But knowing you, I know better. So I ask this question, as you reflect, whether it's college or pros or thereafter, what's the biggest thing you regret about the wonderful life that Grant Hill has had?
Well, there's a few things I probably regret. I think, first of all, trusting my instincts as it related to my injuries instead of trusting doctors and others. I think that's one thing I regret. Look, I think first of all, I appreciate you saying that. I think I've had a very blessed life, very fortunate, my upbringing, my parents, all of that. In the book, I get into, even with all of those advantages, all of those privileges, I still had stuff. I still had things I was dealing with. I had lack of confidence issues. I had issues about wanting to stand out. I stuttered. I had a lot of things that, insecurities. And so to be introspective and to be revealing and to kind of take down that armor and be authentic and transparent and sort of present, my strengths and my flaws. That was something that took me a minute to get used to, or the idea of that. But yeah, I felt it was important that, look, no matter who we are, no matter what we go through, we have stuff, we have baggage, and we have things we're dealing with. And I tried to share that understanding the privileges that I've had and continue to have with my life.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.